Hey, very good morning, everyone. Happy Friday and welcome to the Early Edge. We got a lot of people in the chat, including, I got to go back and check. I think Danny Brasco was in here about 5 or 10 minutes before the show giving out cricket plays. So love to see that back on this SportsLine YouTube channel. Let's see how we did yesterday. It was back-to-back losing days for us. I lose my golf matchup. Mike McClure loses that first period bet. The only one we hit, and by the way, Larry Hartstein lost his bet because Dante DiVincenzo just didn't play in the second half. He was tracking really well for that over points and assist prop. But we hit Zach Simney, Anthony Edwards over 24.5 points. It's a bad day. And obviously, we started off the week doing really well. Last 2 days have not been good. So we got to bounce back, finish the week strong. And ladies and gentlemen, we always, regardless of the numbers, we always finish strong on a Friday for BPE Friday. What is Let's go! Wow, is that a recorder? That for a second I thought that was AMags, the bobblehead. It was very confusing. We got Mikey B. Buckets, I'm going to get to you and your musical playing in a second, but if you haven't had your espresso, no worries, because now is the time, everybody. It's Friday for the Chip Me Up.
Good morning, Sia. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Mikey B. Good morning, AMags. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Early Edge fam. And I ain't got no white spray. I got no whiteboard spray for you, okay? I ain't got no imitation Chip Me Up. This is not riggedy raw. This is not riggedy real. This is not battery in your back to get you started for the weekend, because we have a weekend of bouncing back, because that's what we do. Let's go.
Bouncing back indeed. And we bounced back with respect to BPE Friday because, no offense, Buckets, but it seems like Chip may have seen your Chip Me Up last week. Quite a bounce back today, huh?
You talking to me or Chip?
I'm talking to you, Buckets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I don't want to do that ever again. I'm sorry, Chip. That was embarrassing on all fronts. I'm just happy to be back and still be employed after that mess.
No, listen, the effort was there, okay? Execution was poor. Okay, effort was there.
Buckets, can we get an explanation for the recorder? Was that a recorder?
Yeah, I was playing Hot Cross Buns on the intro. What'd you think?
Yeah, but Danny knew it.
And Danny knew it. See ya?
Wow, you actually heard that, Danny? That was Joe Neuenfeld. We actually, okay, I didn't hear that. That's amazing. AMags, you're not usually here on BPE Friday, but you really, the bobblehead was great. How you doing, buddy?
Thank you. Yes, this is the Edison Volquez bobblehead that I have recently invested in. The price is only going up on them, so look around on eBay. But no, yeah, I thought that would be a good little trick here after last week's debacle with the whiteboard spray. I had to come back.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Mikey B, I do want to ask you a question about last night's Timberwolves Thunder game. I know you've got a pick on the game tonight, but your reaction, OKC just looked like the dominant team. I wasn't expecting it to be that dominant. Your response? Or not? Maybe no response from Mikey B. I think his connection is coming in and out. All right. So my response is, wow, it's looking like trouble for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Chip, before we get to Bucket's first picks, your Carolina Hurricanes.
All right, listen, the biggest gamble that we do, oh my gosh, now this is your problem, Sia. All right. The biggest gamble that we do is care. You know, like that is the biggest gamble that we have to do, is to choose to care. Because good gravy. I mean, when you play 2 of maybe your 7 worst games of the whole daggum season on the biggest stage, and you wonder why you're not getting any respect, I mean, that was disastrous. A tail whooping up and down the ice. And the thing that really, really makes this hurt is the food chain of psychological warfare. Because what I have observed over the last 7 seasons as a fan of this franchise is that when the Hurricanes see the Devils, when the Hurricanes see the Islanders, when the Hurricanes see your Washington Capitals, the Hurricanes, they see green. You know, they're like, oh, baby, we got this. And this is what it feels like when you're on the other side. Because when the Florida Panthers see the Carolina Hurricanes, they see food. And they were feasting last night. I was in the building for game 1. That stunk. But at least I wasn't in the building for last night, because then I would have been yelling, shoot the puck too. Because that was not Carolina Hurricanes hockey. That is the biggest game. That's what I thought. The biggest gamble any of us do is care. But you know what? You know what, Sia? I'm going to be dialed in on Saturday night, and I'm going to be dialed in on Monday night because I watch every one of these games, win or lose. Jeez.
Monday night might be the last time you're dialed in, unfortunately. Can I just say, as a Capitals fan, and Carolina just kind of whipped at the Capitals, let's be honest, I'm almost grateful that we didn't get to Florida, because as bad as that 5-0 was yesterday in game one, I'm almost thinking this could have been like a 7 or 8-1 route the way the Caps were playing your Canes. So I not that I'm actually grateful, but it could have gotten embarrassing if it was my team facing what Florida is putting out there. All right, let's put out some picks finally. Buckets, talk to me. We got 2 plays on the pitch, and I'm concerned because I'm right now, just look behind the curtain. I'm looking a little to my left, and I see your picks. And my thought is, we have a different producer today. It's Claire. And I'm thinking, oh, she just messed this up. There's no way that these are words. And I'm very concerned about the recap screen. You have the floor.
Well, we'll get to that play second. Let's start with an easy one. And I'm actually going to need an assist from my man Chip here, because we're going to Serie A. And I specifically am giving out a bet for Como versus Inter Milan, because we have a bit of a title race going into the very last match day. So before I give this bet out, Chip, can you give some Italian love to all the viewers? I know this is your league. This is kind of where we can match each other a little bit. You excited for this final match day?
Oh, I'm fired up for this final match day, which you can watch on Paramount Plus. You know, don't always forget you can watch that on Paramount Plus. The fact that we've gotten this Napoli and Inter showdown all the way to the very end is the best. And also keep it dialed for the rest of the weekend. We've got Europe spots that are still up for grabs. You know, a little bit of a long shot for my beloved Fiorentina, but I saw Moise Kean putting it in the back of the net for a 3-2 win to keep that alive. This whole weekend, a lot up in the air in terms of the future. But the thing that matters the most is being able to bring home that Scudetto. That is what Inter and Napoli are both into.
And I think that Napoli will be the one to bring it home. Their money line has moved from -300. It's now -750 on MGM. So the books think Napoli might smack them down. But that doesn't mean we can't get a good game in Como versus Inter. I am taking both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. If Inter Milan doesn't win this game, or at the very least draw and hope for a miracle in Cagliari, then they are done. Inter have to go for goals here. They're going to need at least 2 goals to beat Como, because Como under Cesc Fabregas has been ridiculous this season. They are 10th in the table, and they are undefeated in their last 8 games. Fabregas has done such an incredible job with the squad. It does not matter who their opponent is. This is a team that goes for goals. So if Inter want to win this game like they have to, it's going to take a handful of goals. Love the same game parlay at -110. And then Sia, my apologies for this one. We go to the Icelandic Valstalid in a matchup between Nats Pínfélag Reykjavík versus Nats Pínfélag from Reykjavik. And we're taking over 1.5 goals in the first half at -120. I have a lot of reasons why I really like this bet, but I am so exhausted just after saying the names, Sia. That's all I'm going to give you. This is my favorite bet of the day, and I'm going to let Sia explain why I like it so much, actually. Let's just keep the assist going, Sia.
I mean, you like it so much because you know this is the most dreadful thing for me to try to pronounce on the recap screen. I think that's the beginning and the end of the analysis, as GAWC says, LOL, good luck, Sia.
What I will say is that Reykjavik, the home team here, has 22 goals scored and 15 conceded in just 7 matches. They have the most goals combined out of any team right now in Iceland. So I love first half goals here, considering just how bad both these defenses are.
So
yeah, go ahead.
Is that Reykjavik, or is Reykjavik another Icelandic city?
So this is Reykjavik. I'm just trying to be mean to Sia. They go by KR Reykjavik, but I went their Icelandic name to kind of finesse the recap screen a bit, but it's just Reykjavik.
Okay, but what's the other one? What's the other team? What's that?
Oh, they go by Fram.
They go by Fram. Really?
So if we need abbreviations for all these team names, why do they even publicize that's the name? Just go by the abbreviation every time.
On the sports books, it'll just be the abbreviation. Again, I'm just mad at Sia.
You're just doing this.
I'm just being a pain in the ass. That's all I'm doing today.
Crazy.
This is amazing. This is like the funniest little lower third I've ever seen, because it's going to be funny when I try to pronounce this. I think we have Mikey B back, but we'll check Mikey B. We'll check on you in a second.
I'm back, Sia. I'm back.
He's back. All right, we're going to get to some NBA with you in a second. AMags, I'm looking at your pick, and they're 1-syllable words, which I very much appreciate. Talk to me about your strikeout prop.
Yeah, this guy's entire name is 8 letters, right? It's Matt Boyd. That's all you got to remember, Sia. But at 5.5 strikeouts here for Matt Boyd, he's gone over this number in 4 straight now. The numbers for strikeouts have been creeping up. When you look at the season as a whole, he's really only gone well under this number in 2 starts, which was against the Dodgers and the Padres, and they were both back to back. He had just faced those two teams after he came back and faced them again. So I just think that when you look at the numbers for Boyd, the 5.5 is kind of a tough place to have the number. I understand the juice on the over here, and I'm just going to take the over. I'm not going to think too much about it. I will say, at least projections wise, there's a little bit of dissension in some of the numbers. I guess some think that he should have a great day. Some think that he should have a not so great day. And with the wider range of outcomes against a Reds team striking out over 25% of the time, I'm willing to take the over. I will actually dabble in a couple of the upper levels for strikeouts as well. So check out my article today. I'll have a little bit more info in there about that on the analysis tab.
Yeah, check out your article and check out SportsLine's Discord, because you're always living in there, particularly over the weekend. When we don't have a show on Saturday and Sunday, you're living in there, and so are so many other people that are members that also happen to be sharp like you, AMags. I actually have a couple of baseball questions to ask you about. We got a home run graphic. We'll save that for a little later on in the show. I do want to tell everybody, BetMGM account holders will receive an MLB home run boost token. To use the token, add an MLB home run wager to your bet slip and activate the token. Score extra winnings if you win your wager that was made with the odds boost token. And we're going to get to home run model plays right after the break. But I do also want to tell you about SportsLine picks. We've got prop stars with a Josh Hart under 16.5 total rebounds and assists at -125. I went ahead and checked out his write-up over on sportsline.com. And if you're not a member, go to sportsline.com/join, type in the promo code winners for 60% off. But I do believe I read in his write-up, he has a lot of things to say about this particular bet. But I do think he said he would play it if it was down to 15.5 as well, which it might be in some places. Obviously, when he put the pick out, it was 16.5. That's when you could have gotten it if you were a Sportsline member. But he did say at 15.5, he would also play it. So Josh Hart under 16.5 total rebounds and assists at -125 is where prop stars got it. All right, we got to get to home run model plays. Mikey B, we got to get to your NBA plays. We got a couple of golf plays from Chip and I. Home run props. We'll do it right after this message from our partners.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Before we bring up the model plays, there was a question. We have a day game, and Jeff Shearer wants to know, AMags, do you have any opinion whatsoever on Red Sox and the Orioles? I know it was Bayo on the mound for the Red Sox. Who was it?
Cade Povich on the other side, the lefty. And I was looking at the Red Sox first 7 over team total is 3.5. So you're going to avoid, those tougher arms in the bullpen at the back end for Baltimore if you get there. But as you guys know, in the earlier games, I think things can get a little bit squirrely. We don't really love Brian Bayo, as we have mentioned before. Cade Povich, I really don't think he's a great pitcher either. So I also looked at both teams to score 3 runs on MGM. It was -145 or so.
Yeah, I mean, Bayo just hasn't been very good at all. I mean, I know the Orioles bats haven't been good, but that just seems like I like, by the way, AMags, I like the over at maybe a first 5 over in that one. I think it was Mets Dodgers. I also kind of like the first 5 over in that one. I also lean to the Mets at home against Kershaw and the Dodgers. Any opinion on that game, whether it's agreeing or disagreeing with what I just said or anything else in that game?
It's an interesting game with Kershaw coming back. I know his strikeout total is pretty low, but just projection-wise, I was looking at him this morning. He actually does project to go over the strikeout total. I'm not going to play that. I'm going to kind of take a wait-and-see approach with him still kind of coming back here, but good to see him on the mound, and I would lean to the Dodgers. Just at the end of the day, getting the Dodgers as the away team opens up quite a few bets for you on the team totals, the -1.5 run lines, right? So getting them as the away team, those are things I immediately look for.
All right, let's check out the home run model plays. AMags, we're going to get your reaction quickly to this as well as we move through some picks. We got Michael Bush, Sportsline saying +480 should be the odds. The real odds are +550. Pete Alonso and Cody Bellinger also showing some limited value. Any of those threes jumping out to you, AMags?
Just looking up real quick. So actually, Bellinger, we already had Aaron tailored winnings First off, I'm gonna give him a shout out quick because he's always killing it in the Discord. Bets every single day, winners every single day. So shout out to him. And he mentioned the Yankees in Coors Field, right? Bellinger, we've seen him on this hit streak. He's been just absolutely ravaging pitchers. And, you get Tanner Gordon on the other side here for the Rockies. I think it's a good spot for Bellinger and any of the Yankees bets. I was also looking at Gordon over 6.5 hits. He's been well over that number in his recent AAA and Major League starts.
All right. We'll look to field a couple of more baseball questions before we get out of here. Mikey B and Chip, before I go to you, let me just give out my 3-ball real quick. I've got Ryo Hisatsune at plus 130 over Matty Schmidt and Will Gordon. I think this is really Hisatsune versus Matty Schmidt. I think that's what this matchup really is. I think Will Gordon could compete, and what's going on the course right now is interesting. Some good players falling, some bad players, having some good scores here. But Ryo Hisatsune is just the better guy and the better course fit than both Matty Schmidt and Will Gordon. Matty Schmidt had a good day yesterday. A lot of it was reliant on the short game. I don't expect that to hold up because Matty Schmidt's short game isn't necessarily good. Ryo Hisatsune, on the other hand, good short game, good course fit, and coming in with a better form. So at plus 130, I don't love 3-balls. I like isolating one singular player, but at plus 130, I think there's some value here. You can play this down to plus 125 where it lies at some of the sports books. But Ryo Hisatsune plus 130 over Matty Schmidt and Will Gordon. All right, Mikey B, we got to finally get you in here. I do want your reaction to, because I think the Timberwolves still could win some games at home, including the 2 they have at home, but it's not looking great. I just want to get your reaction to whether they're still in this series at all, or at least can they win a couple of games, and then give me your picks.
Yeah, first of all, I apologize for the computer issues. It could not handle BPE. It was not prepared for all that with Chip, so I apologize. But no, I think the Timberwolves are toast. The big problem with that game last night, Julius Randle looked completely disinterested. He was just standing in the corner. He wasn't cutting. It was weird for a guy who was so awesome in game 1. I mean, he hit 5 3-pointers. He had a ton of energy. He looked like he didn't even want to be there yesterday. It's not like they were rolling the coverage towards him or anything. They were focused on Edwards. I could see Thunder in 5 here. I think they've just completely – They've got Edwards to the point where they can keep him around 30 points, which is key, and then just shut down everybody else. So, yeah, I think Thunder in 5 there. And then we'll go to my actual picks for Pacers Knicks tonight. And I have to get this out there. I'm going to miss probably the first half of this game. My wife bought some tickets to a comedy show months ago. I know this is a big problem.
Who's the comedian?
Tom Segura, I think.
Oh, he's funny.
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty funny.
We're going with other couples. None of them are interested in basketball, so this is going to be a big problem. I'm wondering if I can get this on my phone, maybe watch it on my phone a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to get yelled at.
They might take your phone. A lot of comedy shows, it's
that's right.
No cell.
You might not have it for the entire time.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put that aside, and we're going to do 2 picks that hopefully when I come out of the comedy show will hit, or maybe I can watch the second half of this game. I'll be super excited. So let's do a player prop and then a side. So first we're going to do Andrew Nembhard over 11.5 points at minus 104. He had 15 points game 1, 6 of 10 from the field, played 35 minutes, which is key. He only averaged 29 minutes per game during the regular season, but he's averaged 33 minutes per game in the playoff. He has turned that into an average of 14.6 points per game in the playoffs. In 11 playoff games, he's had at least 12 points 8 times. I think the Knicks are going to focus their defense here on Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and they are not going to let Aaron Nesmith go crazy like that again. So that's going to leave for some open looks for Nembhard, and he goes over 11.5 points. And then I got to take the Pacers plus 6.5. I can't believe they are even more underdogs. Yes, they came back. It was a crazy historical comeback. But they keep coming back in games. They don't quit. They're won 5 out of 6 road games in the playoffs. I think that they love being the underdog. They love being the villain. Yes, I think the Knicks win this game. Do they blow them out? No. And I think the Pacers cover this 6.5. It's too big of a number.
I got distracted by Danny Brasco in the chat, Mikey B. He said Brunson is a dog and Shai is an unethical hooper. There is a big difference in their styles. Can I get your reaction? I feel like Brunson and Shai are a little bit of this, like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But I got to admit, Shy is really kind of like catapulting himself into players and trying to draw fouls. Whereas I don't know that Brunson's doing it as much, but he's doing it as well.
Shea throws his body forward a lot of times. Brunson does a lot of hooking. Like he'll hook a guy's arm and make it look like they're pulling him.
Yes.
Yeah, he'll throw his head back real fast. And he's a smaller guy. So that helps his cause. But yeah, listen, it's a part of the game. Everybody tries to get a foul. I mean, LeBron looks like he's been shot half the time when he fouls. So I mean, everybody does it. It stands out more when the little guys do it because they have smaller frames and they can get knocked down easier. So it doesn't bother me all that much.
Mark Buckle says Mikey B is going to have a Bluetooth earpiece while someone gives him play-by-play of Indiana, New York for 2.5 hours.
This thing starts at 7:30. So I'm hoping it's like 2 hours. Maybe I missed the first half. I get in the car. I don't think we're carpooling. So I think that's a good thing. So I can hit the gas hard, get home, and go from there.
AMags.
So 2 things real quick. It sounds like a great night for food poisoning for you there, Mike.
Yes.
So, awesome night to just randomly get food poisoning. Once the wife leaves, you wanted to go and have fun at the show, right? So then,
I see.
Yeah, catch up.
The pre-food poisoning. I thought you meant get food poisoning at dinner.
Yeah, no,
the
food poisoning.
Yeah. No, I think that food poisoning's going to hit about 4 p.m., Mikey. I think that's
yeah, exactly.
This is like a thermometer to the light bulb, old school trick for adults.
Exactly,
I don't feel good.
I did have a question for Mikey B, though, on the Knicks game here. Any love for Cat on the threes? I mean, 4 of 8 from 3 last time. Is that a thought that he's going to keep chucking them up? What do you think?
Yeah, he has owned the Pacers, specifically in the scoring department. They haven't been able to defend him. He did look much better. I believe the line was 1.5, and it had quite a bit of juice. I was looking at, I think it was like minus 150 something, minus 160 something.
So I was looking at 3 threes is 210 plus 210, and then 4 is plus 540. So just
I don't mind if you wanted to. Yeah, if you wanted to put like a half unit on the 3+ and maybe of a quarter on the 4+, I don't mind that. He certainly owns the Pacers. They haven't figured out how to stop him yet.
I like it.
I think the 3+ at plus 210 is a great number, but
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's good stuff. All right, Chip, let's move to the PGA. We've got a homegrown talent that you're leaning on today.
Yeah, all this talk about Scottie Scheffler in Dallas. Well, how about another multiple-time major champion playing in Dallas, huh? How about Jordan Spieth? Now, full disclosure here. So I had Tommy Fleetwood, as one of my first-round leaders, and I was dialed in, and he just didn't have it. Now, he was kind of a magician around the greens. The flat stick was rolling, and anytime Tommy Ladd is putting well, you kind of perk up a little bit. But I'm going to talk about something that Sia and I talk about a lot, and that's sticky stats. That's about regression. It's about, was that you in that round, or is that who you are? Because on the whole, Tommy Fleetwood is maybe about an average putter. Now, on the other hand, Jordan Spieth could not make a putt to save his life. We're talking missed birdie putt on 11, missed birdie putt on 16, a bad missed par putt on 17. The strokes were just bleeding out on the greens. And again, is that you in that round, or is that who you are? Because Jordan Spieth, even when he's at his lowest, can still roll that rock, can still putt well. So what we've got here is a 3-ball matchup. We talk about it a lot. Spieth and Tommy Ladd going to be playing with each other. It is about a coin flip, minus 115 to Fleetwood, minus 110 to Spieth. Give me Jordan Spieth, who was much, much better on approach, better tee to green, to be able to get that putter going in the right direction and be able to best Tommy Fleetwood here in Dallas. Again, like Tommy Fleetwood's a flusher. He was very average with his approaches into the green. Jordan Spieth, a good putter normally, couldn't make a putt. I think we start to see everything balance out a little bit, and that's good for Spieth.
All right. We lost Buckets. Buckets actually has another obligation he had to run to. Can I just point out on the course right now, Chip, we've got Chris Goddard up near the lead. He's tied for second. He's -3 right now. We've got Doug Ghim at -3. Victor Perez and Ricky Fowler are 4 under through 6 and 9 holes. And Scottie Scheffler, who was +120 after going eagle birdie in his first 2 holes.
I saw he started with a bogey, maybe multiple.
Yeah, he's +2 now. through, I think, like 9 holes. So this is getting very interesting. I bet that without market, and now I'm feeling silly because maybe it's time to bet Scotty, actually.
How about Weber? Webb,
Yeah.
listen, like that made me so happy. Like to see Webb's only had like 6 starts this year so far. You know, health. He's got a little bit of. Hey, listen, he's 1 year older than me. He was brought in 04. I'm brought in 05. Like, listen, my back hurts too. Okay, and I haven't been winning major championships and stuff like that. So for him to be back in there and playing well, I was happy to see Webb Simpson near the top of the leaderboard. I don't know where he's at right now.
I like to see these older names show up here and there. Certainly a good course fit for him. We've got some picks from Gipper's picks. There's a lot of picks in the chat. AMags, I know there's a lot of baseball stuff going on. Before we get to the recap screen, anything that you need to verbalize here?
No, I think that I put a couple notes in here. I think that we're pretty good. If anybody has any other questions, find me in the Discord. We could do it there.
All right. And Mikey B, did you see if there were any NBA questions for you to address?
No, but I want to bring up something baseball for AMags because he's got the Yankee hat on. I got my Yankee shirt on here. We got to do some because this Coors Field game is going to be a mess. Which you can get all these Yankees hitters at least 2 RBIs at plus 200 or higher everywhere. I like Paul Goldschmidt to get at least 2 RBIs tonight. Is there anyone that you like for at least 2 RBIs at plus 200 or higher?
I mean, of course, Aaron Judge, I don't exactly know what his number would be, but also like maybe Ben Rice or Austin Wells. I had started to look at those lefties against Tanner Gordon. And I think that, regardless of what the weather looks like, playing in Coors Field, all of that, like, I just don't think Tanner Gordon is a very good pitcher. So I do think there's some spots we can take a chance on the Yankees hitters. One, though, that I was looking at this, the over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. You're not going to find a 1.5 on the Yankees side today. But there is one available for Jorvit Vivas. I think I said his first name right. 1.5. It was minus 117 on Caesars. I played it. I think it was minus 140 on DraftKings, something like that. But to get a 1.5 on the Yankees side, you're on the away team in Coors. I thought that was pretty interesting. So if he plays, I wasn't going to come here with that pick and then have him not play. But if he plays, I do think that one is certainly in play.
Yeah, because Goldie was in yesterday because Rice got the day off, right?
Yeah, they're doing like a little bit of like a 3-way with DJ back now. Like they're doing a little like merry-go-round kind of a thing. So I don't exactly know who's going to play day to day, but Goldie should be in there today. I really think he should be. I would love to see DJ in there, back in Colorado. I think he was plus odds for over 2.5 hit run RBI. So that was a little bit interesting.
Goldsmith usually hits fourth. Goldsmith usually hits fourth against righties. So he should have.
If you want, I can repost it even, but there was a great graphic I saw from John Anderson on Twitter, and I reposted it in the Discord, and it showed per lineup position the odds or the chances probability of an RBI. And it actually it kind of went up to the top at the number 4 hitter and then steadily declined after that. So first, second, third are much lower than fourth, as you mentioned. So Goldie there would be your key guy for the RBI.
One thing to mention too, and this is from Joey B, who lives in Denver. He says, going to be rain, windy, and thunderstorms. So certainly, and this is part of the reason we have Discord too. AMags, you can always jump in there and say, hey, all bets are off when it comes because of weather, whether it's this game or any other game. So something to keep in mind there too, that maybe the weather won't be conducive to your typical Rockies environment. Silas Searcy, happy to be in here. He says BPE with exclamation points. All right, well, unfortunately, Bucket's left, so I can't have him help me with the recap screen. So hopefully I can remember what those, I think it was probably on the screen, what the nicknames were or what have you. So I guess it's probably time to go to the recap screen. As I say that very tentatively, Big Cheesy, I see your picks in the chat as well. Everybody, a lot of sharp people in this early edge chat every day. So always take a look at that along with our picks, which are a 3-ball this afternoon. Ryo Hisatsune plus 130 over Matty Schmid and Will Gordon. Okay, we got Bucket's picks. Here's an easy one. Como versus Inter Milan. Both teams to score plus over 2.5 goals at minus 110. That's over at Serie A. And then we've got what appears to be Reykjaviker versus Fram, which apparently has another name, which you can see on this recap screen, which I'm not going to try to pronounce. But the pick is over 1.5 goals first half at minus 120. Easy enough. Andrew Nemhard over 11.5 points from Mikey B. That's minus 104. And the Pacers on the road again, plus 6.5 at minus 118. I like that pick as well. 3-ball from Chip Patterson, Jordan Spieth, minus 110 over Tommy Fleetwood. And then AMags, Matt Boyd over 5.5 Ks at minus 140. And certainly he gave a lot of suggestions on the show as well. Let's take a look at the SportsLine pick. What was the sports? Oh, Josh Hart under 16.5 total rebounds and assists at minus 125. Prop Stars put that pick in there some time ago. Go read the write-up on sportsline.com. Wow. What a show. There's a lot going on today. A big thank you to Claire for subbing in for Ben. Ben will probably be away for a little bit of next week as well. So we'll have Claire in here. We'll have Debo in here. Maybe some others helping us out. And we've got a great team here. So we do not skip a beat. Chip Patterson, AMags, Mikey B. Thank you. Steve Folkerts, Taylor DeHart, Fantasy Life, CLE fan. Mark is in here. Big Cheesy, like I said, Jeff Stenberg, Aaron Tailored Winnings, GAWD, Richard Pierre, Gipper's Picks, Paul L. We could do this all day. Thanks for being in here. Everybody have a great Friday. And don't forget, we rest our case.